everyone, welcome back to Tyrell Models. Today it's a new tool day. Today I want to talk to you about a new cutting tool from Race Studio. Many of you have already bought some of the new Race Studio line, which just appeared on the store. But this is an additional specialist cutting tool if you're looking to detail some of your model parts, particularly Gundam guys. So let's have a look at this new tool from Race Studio. So I'll tilt the camera to the bench as always, and we'll have a look at this tool in practice. See you in a sec. Okay, everyone, here we are at the bench. Right, so this new tool from Race Studio. What it is this guy. They call it the TinyGo, and it is quite a small tool. So it does sort of say what it is on the box. Let me show you the back. So I'll translate all this this language into English, so you guys can see exactly what all this says in practice. So what this is a way of cutting steps into the edges of plastic parts. A lot of the time you see this kind of thing with Gundam kits, and when you're trying to detail the edges of other kinds of parts. Yeah. Before I show you this in detail, what I want to do is to run the promotional video which Race Studio put together. It makes it very, very obvious what this tool is. So let's run that video first, and we'll have a look at this in detail till afterwards. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so as you can see, it's a very interesting tool if you're trying to cut details into the edges of parts, particularly when they're joined together. If you want to create some kind of channel to give it more detail. Maybe you're going to do some pin washes, or you're going to add on some more detail into the seams, that kind of thing. This tool is ideal for that. So let's get this guy out of the box, and we'll see exactly how this thing works in practice. So let's do that, and I'll put him over there. So as you can see, yeah, it is tiny. It is very, very small. As you can see in the hand, it's again, it's sort of stubby marker pen type form factor. So I have very small hands, and it's ideal for me. It really does rest quite nicely. If you have larger hands, I don't think it'll be an issue because it's not too thin. I think they thought about that, so the barrel is actually thick enough so you can hold that with confidence, because you are going to need the accuracy when you're using the actual heads themselves to cut the steps. So that's the tool itself. You also get a little sort of collar which fits on there. You can see it's got a slightly different profile. The whole idea is that goes on so the guy doesn't roll off your bench. Yeah, and it gives you confidence. If you put stuff down, it's not going to move anywhere. Yeah, so if you put it down, it rolls and it stops. You also get a protective cover, which snaps on like that. It also doubles as a sort of extra bit on the back, I suppose. If you do want a slightly larger barrel, just so it rests on your finger a little bit better. That works rather well. And of course, you can combine the two by putting the collar right at the top, and then put the extra on the back. Let me just tighten that up there. So you can do that, but this thing is quite loose because it just fit down the end. So yeah, whether you want to worry about it rolling off your bench, not so much when you've got this thing on the end. So yeah, it's do you actually want to do that or not? It's a sort of choice thing, whether you feel it's something that you want to use. But I think that form is quite nice. So put that down for a second. Now, the actual cutting hands themselves. Now, there's 4 different types, and these are they. So let's just look at the actual sizes themselves, going from smallest to largest. So the cutting profile of these guys starts at 0.2 to 0.4, and again gives you some information on the back how this thing goes together. It's pretty straightforward. It literally goes into the chuck on the end of the actual TinyGo, and you are literally ready to go. That's the 0.2 and 0.4. Then there is a 0.3 and a 0.6, a 0.5 and a 1, and a 0.7 and a 1.4. Now I'm going to use the 0.7 because I've been testing that with a few parts. Let's put the rest over there. So in the box you get, if I can push the sleeve out, which doesn't seem to want to come out for some reason, which is very odd. There we go. Come on. There we go. So let's put that with the rest. So in the box you get the actual head itself, and oddly enough you get another ring, which they've also supplied, for the end of this thing. You can push this right on the end if you really want to. Yeah, to stop it from rolling around. It's entirely up to you whether you actually use these things or not. It's going to be personal preference. Personally, I don't use these. I just leave them aside. But they're there if you want one. But if you have decide to go for the full set of these things, you can end up with another 4 of these guys. But it does give you the indication on the side there of which one you've got in the chuck, yeah, which of course is the important thing. So if you put this thing down and you forget, and you've unpacked these and put them in your drawer somewhere, you're not going to know which one it is. Now let me show you let me put that aside. Show the actual cutting thing, the cutting device itself. So it's all nicely labelled on the end there. Yeah, it comes in these nice robust packaging, so you're not going to damage the ends when you finish. So put them back in the packaging, yeah, and that helps you to stop damaging the end of these, because they can be, particularly when you go to this very small sizes, they can be very fragile. Yeah, so do look after the cutting end to get a nice even cut on your parts. So let's get this guy out, and let me show you that in a bit more detail. If that gets my arm, if I rotate it, yeah, you can see the actual cutting edge on the side. This one was the 0.7 and 1.4. So, just a minute there. Yeah, so you can see how that actually looks itself. Now, is this labelled on the barrel as well? Yes, yes, it is. So if you did happen to forget which one was in the device itself, you'll be able to see that on the barrel. So let's put that aside. So it's a very nice attachment to this. Slots in, yeah, and tightens up really nicely. I'm very happy with the chuck mechanism on this guy. Again, because sometimes you're using very small sizes for doing the steps on the parts. You want the accuracy. You want to be able to have the confidence that you're moving across your parts without any risk of the actual barrel, the actual shaft shifting. Yeah, that's very important for these kind of things, because you don't ruin your part or have to go back and do a lot of filling. That kind of thing. Now, in practice, what I've been doing, I've been testing this on a couple of curved parts, which I think show you how these things work really well. If I can find the right one, there it is. So I just got one of these tank parts, the track wheels, just out of my bits part, just to say I want to see if I could do a curved step. Is it possible to do that? So what you do is you take the device itself and then run it across the surface. And bring that a bit closer. So you run, let me do that the other way around actually, so it'll take more off. You run this across the surface like that. You can see how that's taking material from that edge of this this wheel rim. Yeah, let's get that off now. In good Blue Peter fashion, I've done one earlier. I just want to bring this slightly closer to the camera. Can you see I've cut that groove, that step into the edge there? Yeah. So if I wanted to make that deeper, because it was actually cut with this particular one, what I do is hold it in that motion and then keep on scraping more content off until I get the depth of the step which I want. So there you go. There, I've just made that edge, that slightly deeper step there. Yeah. Hopefully you guys can see that step. If I and I've lost it. Hang on. Where was it? There. So let me just put it on my t-shirt. You see that step that I've cut in that edge, yeah. And of course, it doesn't have to be curves. It can be straight edges, whatever shape it is. If you want to create a step, as you saw in the promotional video, that's how you excuse me. Excuse me. That's how you go about it with these actual heads themselves. I did also do another test on a larger piece. If I can pick the guide up, I have this piece where I do a lot of testing of curved materials and curved tools. Again, you probably be able to see it a bit better actually, which is there. So again, I cut that. You see that groove in the edge there? Yeah, that step. As you saw from the promotional video, if the actual edge is thick enough, you can actually create two steps, two layers, which can be quite interesting for more detailed parts. But if you wanted to cut a single one, that's all I use. Again, I use the 0.7 and the 1.4 for this one. But as you can see there, I cut that groove quite nicely in this part. As I say, it's ideal for that level of detail. A lot of the time it will be two parts together and you want to create a channel, or you have a part that has an edge on it. You want to create maybe a more interesting edge on a particular part. I did test it on bits of plastic art as well. I did test it on a bit of this sort of self-adhesive board. Yeah, it does cut a channel. Where is it? There. It does cut a channel, but because the material is a sort of fibre board, it did tend to sort of feather the edges, so I didn't get a very nice smooth edge there. You could probably go in with maybe a knife or a sander to get a better edge, but the actual device itself was cutting the material out, and it was feathering a little bit. If this was, say, standard plastic art, styrene, maybe it's this kind of this kind of diameter, maybe 4 or 5 millimeters, that'd be fine, because I think the plastic art is denser. These kind of tools work very well with dense plastics. Luckily enough, everything that Scalmel, the kit's made of, they're dense styrene. So if that's the excuse me, if that's the kind of part that you are trying to cut a channel in, then, or cut a step in, then this guy could be absolutely ideal for you guys. So that's the Ray Studio TinyGo. It's an interesting one. So it cuts interesting channels into circular parts, really any shape that you like. This device can move across curved areas, straight edges, curved edges, pretty much anything. A little bit of practice I would advise. Get some styrene first and practice how you're going to move this knife across the edge before you actually go to your part. Yeah, don't want you guys ruining parts by sort of slipping, or that kind of thing. You'll get a feel for the angle that you need, and also the amount of pressure you need to put on, which is not a great deal, because this hasn't technically got a cutting edge, but the edge itself does the work. So don't feel you have to put too much force through this to cut the styrene, because after all, you're taking off fractions of a millimeter each time. So let the tool do the work itself. Concentrate on keeping the angle consistent when you're moving the tool, and keep the pressure pressure as consistent as you can as well, but don't force it, because that will mean either it won't move itself, yeah, and also you might have problems with slipping, and you won't get an even step across the part. So if you have it, get some styrene, do a few test pieces first, so you get a feel for how much pressure to put through, the angle, and also you'll be able to see what the step will actually look like on a bit of bit of plastic on before you actually go to your actual part and cut the step in. So a little bit of practice, I feel, to get the best results from this guy. So that's the TinyGo from Ray's Studio. That should be on the store right now. As always, guys, if you can, please subscribe to the channel, and also hit the bell icon for updates when new videos appear. But also, of course, as always, do contact me if you have any questions or any queries, and of course, keep on modeling.